This is Vincent Jao from Vince Fitness team. The Vince Fitness Podcasts. Empower and help the clients. Empower fitness. Breaking down your goals, fitness, and health. The Vince Fitness Podcast. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Vincent Jao, the host of Vince Fitness Podcast. Our aim is to educate, inform, and entertain. Our show today, we have a doctor. His name is Dr. ERNEST. He's been in the medical industry for a long time. He deals a lot with sports injuries, gym related also. So without further ado, I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Thank you so much, Vince
Actually,
Fitness.
it's a privilege. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes. So my name is Dr. ERNEST. I am an orthopedic surgeon, and basically I deal a lot with the injuries that are connected to musculoskeletal injuries and probably the bones most of the times. And also I have specialized also in sport injuries. Yes.
Oh, nice. Basically, our listener, if you're wondering how I came to know about Dr. ERNEST, I recently had a IT band syndrome, and actually he's the only one who gave me a solution, because the moment I got the injury, the following day I rushed to go to a physiotherapy. It was not a good idea. It was painful because the physiotherapy insisted on using pressure, but the Dr. ERNEST actually advised later on I should have not gone to the physio. Actually, I should have maybe stretched or gone to the swimming pool. So that's how I came across Dr. ERNEST, and I really appreciate, because now I'm better. I've healed so far. It's been 7 weeks. Thank you so much, doctor. So
can I just say something about that?
Okay.
Most of the time when we get injuries, we want to self-medicate. We want to Google.
True.
We want to rush to people who we think can solve those problems adequately at that particular time. But most of the time when we are doing this, we are emotional about it.
True.
Most of the time. So what I would want to advise people, whenever you get an injury, whether it's
minor or
muscle,
major,
skeletal, minor or major, just look for an orthopedist or a person who's well versed, with a specialist who's well versed in that particular area. Yes, an orthopedic also will be a very viable option.
Personally, the biggest mistake I did is visiting the physiotherapy. I was limping the moment I entered the physiotherapy room. I left worse. I was in pain for like 2 more weeks until I came across, and you advised I try swimming. Actually, I then light jogging later on. Now I'm better. Thank you so much for your advice.
Yeah, and most of these injuries, most of them, especially the sports injuries, some of them just require you to be they require what I call rest. You put some ice, and then C, it's you just care about yourself. And then E is when if they don't work, you look for treatment. So that's what I usually call RICE. Yes.
So rest, ice, care, and treatment.
Yes. So first of all, you just rest, and then you put some ice, and then you care for yourself, and then you look for treatment if it doesn't work. Yes. So most of these injuries, sometimes you don't need
therapy or medical
Therapy,
attention.
and then for you to go to a physiotherapy,
Uh,
you need an advice of a specialist,
okay.
like an orthopedic doctor,
Uh,
so that he can tell you, hey Vince, this one, go to
a
a
physio.
chiropractor or go to a physiotherapy,
Okay.
a therapist.
Okay.
Yes.
So at any given point, I'm not supposed to make my own decisions on
No,
when
no.
to visit a physiotherapy.
No.
Okay.
Because you didn't go to a med school. There's a person who went to a med school.
True.
And that person knows that particular area that has an issue. They can either treat it, give you remedies for it, or they can refer you to another person who's well transversed with that particular area.
My question is, does physiotherapy has to be that painful? Because
you see now
I have PTSD even visiting a physio bana.
You see, the problem is always us and also those guys. Probably when everyone wants money, and I'm not trying to
Look down upon
Yes, because they do an amazing job. I also have physiotherapists that I have employed and they work under me. They do an amazing job. But what we need to realize, let me give you, for instance, an example. Today when you come to my clinic and you tell me, Doc, sijui nasikia aje, what do you think is the first thing I'll do?
Test, maybe.
Yeah, I'll ask you to go run some tests, even though you have no symptoms.
True.
I just know if you go and you get some rest, probably you're just fatigued. If you go and get some rest, you'll be okay. You understand?
Yeah.
But I'll ask you to go do what we call a full hemogram. And then you'll go do you'll probably go do a full hemogram and I'll charge you for that.
Okay.
You understand? And then you'll still come back and I tell you, now here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with you, but I'll just go home, rest, drink lots of water, nini, hapa na pale. Yes.
Okay.
So there's nothing wrong in visiting physiotherapists. They're actually those ones who do an amazing job.
Okay.
But go to a physiotherapy if you've been recommended by a doctor or you've been referred by a doctor to go there. And who are these doctors? An orthopedic doctor or an orthopedic surgeon.
Okay.
These are the only people who deal with musculoskeletal injuries or anything that is there to do with the sport injuries. Yeah.
For instance, if I cannot manage to afford a orthopedic doctor and I'm suffering from an injury, what would you advise?
That's a very difficult question. Because either way, if you go to a hospital and you do an X-ray or an MRI or even a CTI, a CT scan, sorry. The person that will be called to advise on that particular case is 90% of the time. The person will be called to advise on the case and give prognosis on the case is always an orthopedic doctor. Yes. So what you just need to do is raise some funds. There are proper clinics that you'll go to, or medical centers that you'll go to. Especially for me, if I see a patient who's struggling with pain, I will always encourage them to raise money in bits. So that they can come to clinic, because the aim is helping people.
True.
At the end of the day, the aim is not money.
The
aim is also money. Don't get me wrong, but also you can help people.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least you make sure you get a proper diagnosis.
Yeah. It's just a balance.
Totally understand.
So if probably the consultation is 5,000, I'll ask you to look for 2,000 and come. And then the 2,000 you'll come with it later. Baadaye, another day, and you just write it down. So that we can
that's manageable
with the treatment. Yes.
Okay. So what are the most common injuries experienced in the sports athletes, maybe gym goers? What are the most common injuries and how can we approach them, or how can we prevent?
Okay, so Sports science is very interesting. Yeah? There are not many injuries in sports, but in as much as there are not many, there are those what we call the mother injuries. Yeah, like for instance, the hamstring tendonitis.
Okay.
There's what we call chondromalacia. That is, in a layman's language, it's called runner's knee.
Okay.
We have the ACL. We have the groin. We have fractures where you break. We have dislocations. We have sprains and we have strains and pain.
Okay.
Yes, and we have what we call sprains.
Oh, sprains. Yeah.
So those basically are the major injuries.
Okay.
Yes. And also, we've mentioned strains.
Strains, yeah.
Yes.
And muscle tear. So basically, I think what I've seen most is the groin, the hamstring, and the ACL. Mostly in the gym. So I think gym goers mostly suffer from either, let's say, IT band syndrome, knee, ACL, and hamstring. As gym goers, what would you advise us to? What is the major cause of this injury? Is it overtraining? Is it lack of warm up, or is it lack of stretching? Or
so number one, I'll start with the you said the ACL,
the ACL, yeah,
the Achilles, and also the hamstring tendonitis. So all these exercises have one thing in common. When you're training, for example, your situation, there's also another person I treated that had the same situation.
IT band.
Yes,
okay.
But he was a rugby player.
Okay.
Yeah, but for him, he used to do explosive exercises, and he had not built a strong muscle around the Achilles.
Oh.
You understand? So whenever he used to do what you guys call the plyometrics, he was just doing it well. You see, that in itself, it's an explosive exercise.
Yeah.
But now, plyometrics require you to have a very strong muscle around your Achilles and your hamstring, so that you can be able to explode while you're jumping and doing those type of exercises.
Also, basically, you need to strengthen the muscles around the area.
Yes.
If it's the ACL, if it's the IT band,
yes.
Same applies for the knees,
Yes.
Because I've experienced, I've seen so many clients suffering from knee issues. Anytime they squat, there's knee pain. But if they're walking, no problem. So that's not arthritis, right?
No, so I cannot say that now. Until they come to the clinic, and then we assess them, and then we see. But for what we are talking about is those muscle injuries.
Surrounding muscles.
Yes.
Okay.
So for like the IT bag, number one, you get that injury because of fatigue. Number two, you can only get that injury if the muscle around it is not strong to accommodate the explosiveness of that area when you're doing the plyometrics.
Okay.
Yes.
I totally agree, because
so it tears most of the time, and so many gym goers don't like doing calves. So you just do calves on a lighter note. Yes. So for that guy, he's a fast runner. He squats very heavily, very good.
Okay.
But because of he didn't build a strong muscle around his calf area, it teared. It teared very painfully.
Okay.
And then he went to the physio again.
Yeah. Most painful experience.
And then he went to the physio again. What did the physio do? Ni hapa
press
consistently, applied pressure. So the inflammation there also became 10 times worse than it was supposed to be.
Similar to mine. I remember the following day, the place was black and red. I could not sleep with one side because of the pressure.
Yeah. So I told him, for him now, he has how many months?
3
months.
without training.
Without training.
Even upper body training.
No. Yes.
Okay, that's tough.
Yes, because now when you train, your estrogen or your testosterone levels, there's what we call, it jumps down, up and down.
Okay,
so
fluctuates.
That's why, yes. So that's why someone is able to buff up.
Okay.
Yes. So the muscles are I don't want to go into that. Yes. So there's a way the muscles are connected.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically, it's not. It's number one. You said overtraining and weak muscles around the affected area.
Yes, around the area.
Okay.
So that's what causes the injury. Another thing would be maybe someone is arthritic, or you have something called osteoporosis.
Okay.
Yes. But for knee pains, you can, most of the time, it's usually arthritis, osteoarthritis. So you can come to the clinic and then we shall assess, because we've seen so many cases like those ones.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Doc, I've also seen guys, if your form is not really good in squatting, you tend to suffer from knee pain. If you correct your form, the pain tends to go away. What do you call that?
No, so most gym goers, especially weightlifters, leave alone athletes, they get lots of injuries I saw somewhere here is said sciatica.
Sciatica,
Sciatica,
the prefemoral syndrome.
The syndrome. So most people, that's an injury that results from, inaanziaga hapo kwa buttocks hapo mahali hapo kwa
glutes,
muscle,
hamstring all the way, calf
chini,
all the way to the heel.
Chini. And sometimes it might go even to the lower back. You understand? Yes, hapo.
Does it connect with a disc bulge?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
It's like a pinch, eh?
Yes.
Very painful.
So
very painful.
And it's inflamed. So it's usually very painful kabisa. Yeah.
How long does it take for or it depends with the therapy you're doing? The sciatica. Because I've seen one of most clients suffering or leaving gym literally because of the sciatica. I've seen mostly because of either deadlifting in a wrong way or too heavy, ego lifting. And I think it's one of the exercises that goes, I don't know if it's more than 6 months.
Yeah, so what you need to do is, there are nowadays supplements that we give.
Okay.
And also there are what we call anti-inflammatory drugs that we give you. Okay. And also another best way to do for you is what we call rice. So you just need some rest and self-care after we've given you these meds.
Okay.
And so for injuries, sciatica, most people, your technique is bad in the gym. Yeah, so that's why I usually advise people, if it's your first time in the gym, look for someone who has been gymming or a trainer to train you on how to lift weights.
True.
Or if you've stayed out of the gym for a while, you know, sometimes as men we have that ego.
Yeah.
So if you've stayed out of the gym for a while, look for someone. It's not it's not bad to tell a trainer, niaje boss,
I need your help.
Nisaidie.
It's good to be vulnerable.
Kama hii technique kidogo nimesahau, nionyeshe, and then see if I'm doing it correctly, ama I'm doing it the wrong way. That way, you also avoid injuries at the gym. For instance, deadlifting. There are so many people who deadlift very, very wrongly at the gym, and you can attest to that.
Yeah, I've seen so many people. I've seen someone leaving the gym. They feel like crying and going to the loo at the same time because of pain. So I had to ask him, what's wrong? I was deadlifting. Then I did barbell row. This happened. I've seen someone being carried away from the gym just because of wrong form or ego lifting.
Yeah, and you see these things, gymming is part of fitness and health. Yes, so you don't really need to show us that you can lift heavy weights.
True.
Yes. Just come do what brought you to the gym, and also always ask for help.
Okay.
So in case of like sciatica, most people who get those injuries are probably because of wrong techniques in the gym,
and heavy
or
lifting.
Deadlifting, and also squats.
Okay.
Mind you, squats, because you tend to lean more on one side. The stronger side, so the left side.
Straining one side, eh?
Yes, so
okay.
you're straining the other side. Yeah.
Okay.
Squatting, even doing hamstrings in a standing position. Those deadlift hamstring where that one can also cause that.
Oh.
Yes.
The stiff-legged deadlifts,
yes, the stiff-legged
So
one.
that's a risky one, eh?
Yes. So if you don't know the right technique, you're just going down, up. Both of them, they are gone. And it's a slipped disc. Poop. Yes.
Doctor, you mentioned about some meds I'm not going to buy any of them. I'm just asking. Are they peptides? The one you recommend for faster recovery after sciatica or any kind of injury?
No, so that one, you see, they love to call me, come to the clinic. If they give all the information here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you offline. But
okay.
Yeah, so they love to come to the clinic, and we see how we can help them.
So guys, don't worry. At the end of this podcast, we'll attach his online social media where you can find him online. So don't worry, we got you sorted. Our next question was one of our clients said they have a PTSD in resuming gym after a back injury. So how do you approach that? Because now they've healed, they've gone through the doc, the physio, chiropractor. They are physically okay. They want to go back to the gym. But there's this challenge of how about what if I get hurt again, because it was so painful before.
What were they doing? They used to lift heavy weights.
Actually, lifting wrong form. I think it was wrong form. It was not necessarily heavy weights. Actually, I think it was a tire or something.
So how come back and don't do the tire until your form is okay?
Or you choose a different kind of...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So just come back, do ball work, do cardio.
The Swiss ball, eh?
Yes.
Cardio you mean aerobics or running, swimming and bike?
Do
any kind of cardio.
Don't do if it's your back, but if you're okay, you can do bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
And swimming?
You can also do swimming.
Okay.
I think it's more mental than physical for whoever. I don't know if it's a her or him. But what I'll tell them is you can come back and do whatever exercise that you want to do. Be with a trainer.
Okay, personal trainer. Guidance,
yes. Yeah, be with a trainer in guidance. And it has to be a very comprehensive trainer. It has to be a very... a proper trainer who knows what they are doing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by comprehensive.
Comprehensive, okay.
Yes, they know what they are doing and they know their job well. Yes, not those trainers of, you just hit.
Yeah.
You go to the gym and then a trainer has worked you 80 kgs, you need to hit chest. And then instead of helping you out, they want to laugh that the weight is finyaing you. Such trainers.
Yeah.
Those are not trainers.
Yeah. Okay.
By trainer, I mean someone who's very comprehensive in their work, someone who's very detailed.
Detailed and professional.
Yes.
Okay.
So, get such a trainer to guide you through the process, but start slow. You can get the ball. The ball will help you a good one with your back. So, slowly you'll notice that your mental block will clear with time.
Okay. So, Doc, you've said the best way to prevent injuries is to strengthen the major muscles and the small muscles around the joints and the... Right?
No, not the... That's one of the ways of preventing injury.
Preventing.
Yes.
Also, warm-up helps, eh?
Yes. So, that's one of the ways of preventing injuries.
Okay.
In fact... Injuries Yes, we can avoid injuries, but there's just that one day where you
yeah. I totally
because
agree.
I remember when I used to work out some years back, I used to hit everything well, but because I had dislocated my shoulder
Before
years back,
okay, yeah.
so whenever I used to leave the gym, I used to feel so much pain on my left shoulder. Yes. So
Okay.
there are those things that you just need to avoid. If you had a dislocation, probably on your shoulders, don't do heavy weights.
Okay.
Just do light weights, pump. Yes, because your shoulders will still grow. Yes, at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yes, they'll tear, but they'll still grow.
Oh.
Yes.
There's this question of when in pain or sore, and you still want to work out. You're sore from yesterday, right? Very sore. You don't want to rest. You still want to train again. So most clients go for painkillers, and they also continue working out. Is it recommended to take a painkiller and train? Or do you necessarily need to take a painkiller so that soreness can go away? Or what would you recommend? Because I've seen most clients taking advantage of, personally advise them to stretch or rest, but you'll see most clients, they won't tell you they are sore, but they'll take a painkiller and go for the workout. So I don't think it's a good remedy.
So what is the reason why they are training?
Or the main reason.
Yes. Because if they're training for health, why would you be so fatigued and then the next day come when you're still tired and still want to train? You see, that's also that's not training for health. That's just you probably. It's like you went to work in a builder's site somewhere and you still have to go to work the next day. No one has forced you. Just your body needs proper rest. Yeah, so if you don't do that, it doesn't become training. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of peer pressure in the gym that you don't want to miss out. Maybe if you worked out with a partner, there's this pressure of see you tomorrow, we do a certain body part. We did this on Monday, so Tuesday we do this. But is it recommended to take painkillers for soreness if you're training? This pain is gym related. It's not that you've been... it's not a headache. You've not been hit by...
If you have soreness and you're not fatigued, you can always come back to the gym so that you can clear the... Because what happens is, when you're training your muscles, especially when you're hitting the weights, I'll just put it in a layman's language. When you're hitting, you're expanding these muscles. You understand?
I understand.
So when these muscles are here, when you're training, you feel pumped. Understand? And they've not been pumped like that for a while.
Okay.
So it's in a layman's language, you guys usually say tear. The muscle tears.
Muscle tears.
Yes.
So that it can grow.
Yeah, so that it can grow. I might expand so that it can grow, and then it starts healing when it's here, not here. So when it's healing when it's here, and you're not tired, but you just come to the gym and at least do cardio probably on that part to release that soreness.
Oh.
Yes, because if you take painkillers, trust me, the next day, and you don't come to the gym and you're not fatigued, the next day it will be twice as painful as it was
be
the
worse.
first day. And I know gym goers can relate to this. Yes.
Usually at the gym, we personally advise clients, if you're sore, there's option number 1, rest, or just do mild workout, which is a stretch, just a basic floor stretching. You can do a beginner yoga or Pilates movement so that can release the tension in the muscles. That's what that's what we advise. That's what we advocate
and then
for.
Also soreness, most of the time is caused by you come to the gym, you don't stretch, you don't do cardio, you just go straight into hitting the weights.
Heavy weights,
Heavy weights. So sometimes it doesn't help anyone.
Okay.
So be particular, be detailed in what you want to do. Yes. The muscles will be sore, but so when you take lots of painkillers don't help anyone.
Okay.
In fact, you'll just be messing your liver.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So not everything is needed by painkillers.
There's this question, one of our listeners was asking, does training affect hormonal imbalance in menstruation, or does it affect body cycle? This is women in fitness who are asking.
Yeah, so there's two sides of that.
Actually, doctor, I have clients who undergo. I have two different kind of clients. Some who undergo menstruation, they don't miss gym, and there are those who miss gym. So I think different.
Yeah. So yes,
personality.
It
not
causes-
personality, but body.
it causes what we
composition.
call HI,
Uh,
which is hormonal imbalance. Now I'll give you an example. A lady in the KDF who went and trained for probably 6 months. There's that lady. There's the lady number one who trained for 6 months. and she
Military.
used military training, and she used to get her mens every month. But there's lady number two who trained for 6 months, and for those 6 months she didn't see anything. You understand? Yes. So it's a little bit of both. It also depends on how your hormones are and how your hormones react to training. Yes.
Okay.
Like my wife she's very passionate about gym, and she goes and she eats weights, proper weights. And for her, she has never experienced hormonal imbalance.
Okay.
But I know of her friend who has what we call in fluctuation, in terms of this month she gets her mens, the next month she doesn't, the other month she gets. Yeah.
Is it because of training or?
So it's because of training. When you're training, the body produces more estrogen as a woman, and so that estrogen causes that hormonal imbalance. Same to men. It's either your estrogen and testosterone in the men and in the women causes the body to grow or to have certain features, changes in certain features of your body. So that way, I know you know this.
Yeah.
So those are the things that causes hormonal imbalance in either women or men.
Okay.
So the huge part is that testosterone and estrogen. Yes.
Okay.
In women.
So this
those,
one depends.
when they produce more, there are people that it will affect,
And there are people it will
that
favor.
it will favor, and there are people that it won't affect.
Okay.
You
So there are
understand?
people who will train more, and there are people who will stay away from the gym. Okay.
Yeah. So
Depends
how
with
it
your
is.
body, yeah.
Yes, it depends with your body also.
Okay. So this question has been rampant for so long. After childbirth, how soon should one resume training? The first one is after CS, how soon should one resume training? The other one, after normal childbirth, how soon should one resume training?
3 months, 3.5 months.
That is CS or normal childbirth?
Either.
Really?
Yeah. For me, if you're doing weights,
Uh,
I will encourage you to do 3 months.
after childbirth.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're doing weights. But if you're doing cardio, even 1.5 months is okay. Because at that time, your body should be able to.
Also depends with were you active in the
Yes.
gym before?
Before, yes.
Okay.
Because I know there are people who train up to
9 months
38 weeks.
or 38 weeks.
Yes. And even 39 weeks.
Mm.
So it also depends with the person.
Okay.
But for me as a doctor, I would recommend I'll recommend 3 months. So just
After
to allow
childbirth,
your body,
you hit the gym.
yes, just to allow your body to adapt, pole, eat well, because it was a very lucrative process and a very intense process that we went through for the 9 months.
Okay.
So just allow your body to
heal.
rest. You understand? Yeah, there's no point of jumping into training.
So they can take even 6 months or 9.
No, 6 is
Too long, eh?
It's too long.
Okay.
But for me, I will
3
say
or 4.
3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Yes, because I know a lady. These things vary. I know a lady who gave birth, what we call safe delivery or normal delivery, and then she, after 3 months, she was at the gym hitting weights, and she squats, my friend. I'll introduce you to her.
Okay.
Proper weights.
Uh,
Yeah. So
uh,
after 3 months, she was doing it. Yeah,
okay.
but for me, I will advise you to rest.
Okay.
Yes.
Also, it
Because
depends.
because the reason why I ask people to rest is because this person who was inside you, him or her didn't care if you were eating or not, or if you were resting or not. They used to pick up your nutrients, whether calcium, potassium, all the proteins, ions. They use up those nutrients for themselves. So these 3 months, allow yourself to regain these things, at least half or quarter of them, and then start training them, because also training is a very intense.
Also, for I think
there's no need to rush.
There's no need for if you are very new to fitness and you really want to get back in shape. I think basically you should start slow. Maybe walking is also fine. 30 minutes every day for a start, for the first maybe 1 month. Then eventually you'll feel like you are ready to do something more, maybe at the gym or at home. I think that they should gauge themselves how the body responds and recovers, right?
And that's why you are a trainer, because you always, everything you start slow. Because you can't just jump in.
True.
But today I'm going to hit weights. No. That's why most people usually get absurd. So when you start with walking, and then after walking kidogo, ingia pale, fanya treadmill, bike, pole pole, especially those ladies who are hitting the weights.
Okay.
Because me, my wife was even squatting. I remember there's a day her mom called me. Kaniambia, huyu bibi yako ana squat 80 kgs na unamwangalia tu. And she's pregnant. So
it depends.
If you're that type of a lady, you can actually start slow, treadmill pale, nini, and then ask your trainer to take you through a proper
training program.
Yeah, I mean, it's a SNC, a strength and conditioning, but program. It's not an intense program. It's a very laid back program, as an SNC program, so that you can gauge yourself and don't push yourself so hard. Ukiona imefika mahali you can't, just take a break. Take a back seat.
For CS moms, I think they should they can try the same walking and mild workouts, but I think what they need to avoid more for the 9 months or 6 months is core workouts, just to give yourself time to heal. But the rest of you can walk, you can do 30 minutes walking daily, you can increase to 40 or increase the intensity. So I think for CS moms, that's what you need to note, that you need to avoid core-related workouts like sit-ups, plank, and mountain climbers. You go slow on your core until it heals completely.
And then also, if you want to get in shape, there are those foods that you need to avoid. So you need to be very deliberate on the foods that you take, and also reduce on if you want to get back in shape properly.
Also you start with nutrition.
Yes, nutrition. So you check on because carbohydrates is what is usually stored in your belly.
And processed foods,
Yeah, so because diet is key. So reduce on, because carbohydrates is what we usually makes a person gain weight a lot. And also, so you need to check on that and then reduce on your carbohydrates intake, so that you can, because I know most ladies are usually insecure about their bellies. So that you can have your, as you work out. But at this time also, remember, it's a balance, your breastfeeding. Yes.
Does working out improve fertility in both men and women?
Yeah, proper.
How?
As I mentioned, your levels of testosterone
goes high,
and your levels of estrogen goes high. You even become more hornier when you work out. I know you guys know this thing.
We needed clarification. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Yes. Yeah, so the more they rise, the more you become active. Yes.
Well noted.
So I don't think you need much expounding on that.
I totally understand, and I hope my listeners can can understand that. It's self-explanatory. So, Doc, what one question would you have wished I asked you, but I didn't, and how would you answer it?
There's what we call runner's knee.
Okay.
And I wanted to expound on what runner's knee is. Its scientific name is called chondromalacia.
Okay. What is the cause of runner's knee?
Runner's knee, it's a tear in the cartilage upper kwa magoti. So what usually happens is
inside the patella or
just inside,
okay,
below the kneecap.
Okay.
So what happens is I'm talking to people who do in sports science, people who do running. Probably you like jogging in the tarmac.
Okay.
So you need to have proper shoes for running, and that's why you see the legs of Akina Eliud. They've been told that by their doctors. If you see any marathoner, they usually have certain sets of shoes that have a certain type of sole that helps you to
dance.
Yes. Bounce off the ground.
Okay.
Yes. So that is number one. Number two. Some of the causes are usually wrong techniques of squatting.
Training, yeah.
Yes, and also some could just be overweight. Yes, so you need to check on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Doc, how about groin? I think I've heard about the groin injury for so long. What is the main cause of groin, and how do you heal groin injury?
Groin injury, you just need two remedies. You can put some ice, rest, and then
ice in the groin area.
Just weka kwa bag, and then because when it's inflamed at that time you just weka kidogo ice hapo. Yes, and then but if the treatment is not working, if rest is not working, then we can do surgery afterwards. Yes, even for the sciatica, if rest is not working, I'll leave my number. You can come, we assess you, and then we can do surgery afterwards. Yes.
So this is after you've recommended maybe the
rest,
the chiro, the physio. If it doesn't work after that, now surgery is the last option.
Yes, and also I have recommended. What we do is we recommend meds first.
Okay.
And then all the other.
Are these muscle relaxers?
No.
Okay.
They're just anti-inflammatory drugs.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, and probably some painkillers.
Okay.
Yeah. And so for groin, I would advise most people. Generally, we used to give people 1 or 2 weeks for groins. But nowadays, I usually give people 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
For groins.
Complete
and also
recovery,
for hamstring. Yes, and also for hamstring. Just rest.
Hamstring is a tear.
Yes.
Okay.
So just rest for 4 weeks. And then after 4 weeks, you come, we assess you again. And then if we assess you, tukiona kama uko sawa, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yes.
And there's a lot of, I think, shoulder dislocation.
Yeah.
And I don't know, deltoid tear.
Yeah. So for shoulder, in fact, when you dislocate, it's when the deltoid is usually messed.
Okay.
Yes. So
it's through the process of dislocating.
Yes.
That's when you tear.
Yes.
Okay, the muscle.
But when you're also doing your chest, upper chest,
the incline bench.
Yes, you can also mess up with your shoulder or your deltoid muscle.
Okay.
Yeah.
We always recommend a good
so
warm-up.
What I recommend is
start slow, lightweight, then progressively.
At the end of the day, there's no rush in the gym. Yeah. Stop ego lifting. Yeah, because the gym, when mtu akisha kupiga kwambia strong and wekada hapo sijui eat nini.
You'll enjoy yourself.
Me, I usually tell people test yourself with dumbbells.
Okay.
If you can take dumbbells za 30-30 kwa is it incline
bench, yeah.
Yes, na upige ukiwa peke yako
easily.
You can also do that
with a barbell
and even more.
Okay.
Yes, but you need to rate yourself pole.
Like progressive overload. You start with maybe 5-5, then 10-10, then eventually I think if you can do 10 good reps without assists, it's a good sign that you can progress to the next weight, either by 2.5 or 5 or 10. Depends with how your adaptability in lifting.
Yeah, but also, let's not be egotists,
True.
as the English people say. In the gym, because at the end
Safety
of the-
comes first, yeah.
I don't want to be eating your money every time you come to the clinic. I also want to be happy and see you.
In a good
a
health
good
and
condition.
physically fit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so even for shoulder dislocations, if it persists, we just require to do some rest, pole pole, nini.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's a way we usually return them. When they pop, we return them. Yeah, so if they persist, we will just ask you to do a surgery
Okay.
with us. Yeah, so
last but not least, where can our listeners find you online?
No, so online is TAWI Medical Services, and also we can I'll leave my number.
Okay.
If you have any queries,
We can
we're actually
attach,
one of the cheapest orthopedic centers, or we have doctors in town. Yeah, so we also do home
visits, home care.
visits, home care. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're a lady, you need a physio at home.
You'll assign a lady physio.
We'll assign a lady physio. If you're
Okay.
a gent, we assign a gent physio.
Okay.
So we've come to a realization of that balance also in the market. Yes, and also there are very young, talented doctors that I work with who will be willing to assist you in every way.
Okay.
Yes, and also in different injuries that you have.
Okay.
So you can find us on 07 68
Okay. 68
530
530
688.
688.
Yes, you can send us a message on WhatsApp and we shall get back to you.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Doc, what are the 3 books you'd recommend to our audience? It doesn't have to be comic or any kind of book that you can recommend to our audience.
Okay, so mostly I read medical books.
Okay.
But
maybe some of those books can help us even understand muscles more.
So what I'll recommend is I think what I'll do is I will there's a book
we can share in the description.
Yeah, there's one fitness book that I will send it to you and then you can share in the description.
Okay.
I can't remember the name, but
Okay.
I remember the writer. I'll share it with you. It's a good an awareness book.
Okay.
Yes. But also one of the books that I've been reading is a book called Seasons of Leadership by a guy called Francis Mureithi. There's another book that my wife introduced me to. I don't even know why the heck I was reading that book. It's called The 4 Secret Lives of Babasegi Wives.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Yes. Yeah. So those are the books that I've just finished reading.
Okay.
Yes. But that awareness fitness book, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yes. And also on gym matters. As trainers, you can try as much as possible to have more knowledge on sports science so that you can also be of help, so that you know when this person has gotten a certain injury in the gym, this does not require a stretch, this requires medical attention.
Yeah.
Yes. Because there are clients who come to us, they had a tear, a hamstring tendonitis.
Through
then,
stretching, yeah?
Yes, and then the trainer, a very seasoned trainer, decided to stretch them. So, as you stretch, you know, it's already inflamed and teared. So as you stretch, you're actually increasing if there's a word like tearness.
It becomes even major.
More major. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so I think it's one of the things that we need to do. If you guys can
We need to understand.
do a seminar of that, I'll be able to come and lecture.
Okay.
But most of the time you guys know your stretches.
Very true.
So you come, client anasema I was stretched by my trainer and then it felt so good for a moment, but then afterwards
later on it was painful.
It was so painful it was unbearable.
Okay.
You understand? So we also need those
different kind of approach.
Yes. So
in injuries.
I will be able to teach. I can be able to print some materials for you guys.
Okay.
Yes. So that you guys are not running business on a blind.
Okay. I'll organize something later on. I'll keep you posted.
Yes.
Because we have a group of fitness trainers. Basically, we can come together and agree how you can address it.
I can come with some doctors also who can give you. There's a guy who used to work as a very prominent doctor. We work with his partner to my clinic. He's called Rashad. He used to work with Barcelona. He was one of the
football team.
Yes. And so that guy is a guy who knows sports science
and understands
and sports medicine.
Muscles, Okay.
So he will be able to teach you guys that. So don't just stretch.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Doc, the last question is, what 3 movies or documentaries you'd recommend to our audience? Any will do.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Although I've not watched it, I just hear people talking about it. But I love, I generally love just movies. Movies are for entertainment.
True.
But I think I love Kenyan and I love to support Kenyan. So people should go watch Disconnect. And probably there's a fitness movie called Physical on Netflix.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Yes. So people should go there, watch that one, since we are talking about fitness. It's a documentary. And number 3, just go on YouTube and try to get the right techniques.
Okay.
What's the point of watching movies and you don't know the right techniques?
Very true. Actually, for fitness trainers, basically, if you undergo the right amount of education, then I think quite often refresher courses in the fitness industry, I think you need to, if you stop learning, you can become irrelevant very fast. So you need to keep doing something, educating yourself and sharpening your axe.
And just take it slow. And also in terms of nutrition, just do what we've asked. Try do most of the time, probably do, like for me, eat fruits in the morning and drink water. I was 3 months ago. This is the reason why I don't like gymming nowadays. When I go to the gym and start eating weights, I gain weight very fast. So I started gymming in August all through to November. So I gained weight very fast. I was about 98 kgs. So I started doing what we call intermittent fasting, where you eat fruits in the morning, drink water, and then I skip lunch.
Okay.
I eat at lunch at around 4, and then I eat again at 11.
So you train at home?
No, not right now. I'm not training. I'll start training in March.
Okay.
So I've given because right now I'm 88 kgs. You can imagine.
Okay.
So again, but also it's because I don't love doing cardio. Yes.
Okay. Everyone has a weakness, and
so I want to incorporate it, and then so nutrition is important. In as much as you're training for health, your nutrition is also important. Yes, and just drink lots of water. Yes, and get lots of rest. So nutrition, in fact, training is usually say it's 15% of what rest and nutrition and water can do for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been a privilege. Thank you so much for your time.
I hope I've satisfied you.
Yes. In case of more questions, we can always contact you anytime. Thank you for your time and the clarification of...
There's a question on pregnant women. How long should they train?
The question was until, because estimating 36 to 39 weeks. When should they stop training and wait now for
me, I would say 38 weeks, but most women go up to 39.
39, yeah. I've seen someone swimming even the last day of delivery, leaving the swimming pool and going to the hospital.
Kuna madem magangster huku nje. Yeah.
Okay.
I know someone who gave birth, but that's a story for another. She's my client. I don't want to choma here.
Okay.
Yeah. Kuna madem magangster huku nje. So at the end of the day, do what works for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Dr. Ernest has left his number in the description. We'll also attach his social media, website, his clinics, where he is, location. This podcast was produced and recorded at Represented Studio. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. This show was recorded and produced at Represented Studio in Nairobi, Kenya.